your side of the ball unofficially won the day on Saturday in front of the public. How have they kind of reacted to that? Has that done anything to their confidence?
Yeah, that would be truly unofficial. You know what? Back and forth. I think offense some periods, defense some periods. That's been the way all camp. I think that was even on Saturday. So I don't, throwing a lot at them right now, and especially the young guys. And so they're, the key is, we've talked about this in years past, they can't hit the panic button right now. This is probably as much as we've, put in defensively this quick. Again, we've got some older guys on that first team, so I don't want to slow those guys down. But it becomes a lot, on the younger guys. But I wanted them to have this, feel what we do defensively, and then we'll start slowing it down for them. But I want to see who can retain. And so it's been, like I said, it's been good, it's been bad, it's been really ugly at times. But that's okay. That's why you practice. It's only a couple, whatever it is, 7 practices in right now. And it's nice why they give us 25 before the first game.
What's the adjustment period like for those who transfer DBs that have college experience, but I assume ran a different system than what you guys are doing?
Yeah, you know what? Those guys can transition quicker than, say, just a standard incoming freshman who's never had this kind of volume of defense before. The terms may be different, but from school to school, a lot of schools run similar coverages, or at least a couple that are similar that they can sort of tie words and terms and be like, oh, this just means this, got it. So they can come up to speed quicker, and we've been lucky. Those transfer DBs that you talked about are smart, they're conscientious, so they pick it up a lot faster than most.
Mark talked about Saturday being the first chance for some of those corners to get some one-on-one. You wanted to see what those guys look like there. How did that go, and how has that gone for those guys to get some of that?
It's again, I think we've made some competitive plays. We've lost some too, and that's part of the process. That's part of learning and fighting back. I feel we've been more competitive on the ball. Still trying to refine our technical expertise. Both at the line and off. But I like the way they compete. And Saturday, and when we get to the first scrimmage, that's going to be the first real big test, because now it's, can you compete when you're tired? Live action, balls are flying deep, and then if it gets caught, can I respond? They might put you right back into the run game. The different schemes that you get offensively, both from our offense and when you watch teams that we're going to play in the future, they're going to force those guys to tackle. And so I want to see who's going to tackle. I want to see who's going to respond. There's going to be adversity just like there's in practice. Are they going to hang their heads? Are they going to elevate? So again, these first couple of days is much of our standards, running to the football, competing, responding, and trying to absorb as much of the defense as we can. And then, these next couple of weeks we'll really start just fine-tuning.
Those new guys, what do they offer or bring to the table, kind of individually, certain traits?
Well, first, I think they offer, the biggest thing they offer is competition. Like you walk in, especially if you're a transfer, and I think everybody sits up a little bit higher in their chair. They know, hey, listen, everything we do and everything coach does, every player that we sign, bring in, it's to improve the roster. And, it makes people uncomfortable, which is good. As soon as you get comfortable, you get complacent. But the nice thing is, and I think I talked about it at Media Day, was, that group specifically, the DBs have all checked their egos at the door, and they want what's best for that room. Now, when you talk about individual guys, I think Kedron brings a savviness, an intelligence to the game. Zion is really natural in zone coverage. He does a nice job there at safety. He's picked it up quick. And Jordan, he's just so long, still working on the technique. But Jordan Robinson, when all the dust settles in the long term, is going to be a really good player for us.
How big of it is it to have a guy like Trevin Wallace stay where he would have been a starter, but you have DeAndre Square and Jacquez Jones staying extra years? How important is that he's staying here?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously having Trevin is a huge piece. Having De'Aaron Jackson is a huge piece. I mean, when you've got depth and you can roll, you can keep guys fresh. You know, it allows you to play in multiple packages. You find ways to highlight guys' strengths, and so that'll be fun. And I think it's great for him to have those guys back to continue to learn that position. I think he would freely admit that he's still learning what it's like to be a true inside linebacker, you know? And so to have two guys that have been doing it for 4 years going on their fifth, you know, they can really help him with all that.
When you talk about that savviness, intelligence from Keith Brown, how does that manifest itself? What do you see from him?
Well, I think it's route combos, you know, in terms of wide receiver stems, wide receiver, you know, the pace of their routes. He understands, you know, when he can sit at the top of the route, when he has to go. Does a nice job in divide and seeing routes, can play big picture, sees quarterback shoulder angles, understand which way the ball is going to come out. Is it high? Is it low? Are they looking intermediate? Are they looking deep? And so, no, he's done some good things there.
Rich was bragging yesterday about how smart his side of the ball was. It sounds like that your side can pretty much match his in terms of intelligence.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, we're a group that I think, especially the older guys that have been in the system, I think they understand what we're trying to get done. So yeah, I do think that we've got some intelligence in that, but what I need those guys to do, especially those old guys, is to pass that on, because where you've got a lot with that smaller group of older guys, I need that to get dispersed all across that whole bunch of young guys that are underneath them, because for those guys in these first 7 days of install, it feels like a foreign language to them.
Brett, how do you feel about your nickel options? Obviously, there was a big talk in the spring after Leo got hurt. Who's kind of working there? How do you feel about those guys?
Yeah, you know what? We're still trying to, figure that out. We're rolling a couple of guys through there and figure out what the best fit for us is.
In the past, when you've been a little bit uncertain about what the offense is going to do, you've got to play a little bit more conservatively. I know it's early, but do you feel like that with Will on the other side that you guys may be able to be a little bit more aggressive in some of your packages this year?
You know what? I still think we're going to be who we are, but you always have to adapt. And if you get a lead, can you be some more aggressive at times? Yes. But the other thing you like to do is if you've got a lead or you've got a comfortable lead, you like to preserve that comfort as well. So there's a give and take to that. But yes, it's always fun to look up and know that, all right, if I take a chance, if something went wrong, like, we'd still be okay. So hopefully, obviously, nothing goes wrong.
Folks, we've got our players here and got to get them going.